Namaskar. A warm welcome to World News and Indian Perspective on All India Radio. This is R.S. Raghu and with me is Abhineet Shukla bringing glimpses of the major developments of the day from across the globe. Over the next half an hour, we shall bring to you the latest from the world of politics, economy, sports, entertainment and more. The headlines. India assumes chair of Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence to support responsible and human-centric development and its use. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says government accelerated development initiatives in North-East transformed Look East policy into Act East policy. Indian panorama at the International Film Festival of India, IFFI, begins in Goa on Monday. Conference of Parties COP19 to Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora being held from 14th to 25th of November in Panama City. Earthquake kills 162 and injures hundreds in Indonesian island of Java. In cricket, India to take on New Zealand in the third and final T20 in Napier on Tuesday, and in FIFA World Cup, England defeat Iran in opening match of group stage at Doha in Qatar. India on Monday assumed the chair of the Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence. The GPAI is an international initiative to support responsible and human-centric development and use of artificial intelligence. This comes close on the heels of India taking over the presidency of G20, a league of world's largest economies at Bali in Indonesia. Minister of State for Electronics and Information Technology Rajiv Chandrasekhar represented India virtually at the GPAI meeting held in Tokyo for the symbolic takeover from France. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Chandrasekhar said India will work in close cooperation with member states to put in place a framework around which the power of artificial intelligence can be used for the good of the citizens and consumers across the globe. He highlighted that AI is a kinetic enabler for taking forward current investments in technology and innovation. The minister also said that India is building an ecosystem of modern cyber laws and framework that is driven by three boundary conditions of openness, safety, and trust and accountability.
Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said that government accelerated development initiatives in the Northeast have transformed Look East policy into Act East policy, leading to all-round developments in the Northeast region, enabling all the states to improve trade with Southeast Asian nations. He was addressing the two-day conclave on the theme Celebrating Contribution of India's Northeast Region in Nation Building, organized by the Army and several northeastern states in Guwahati through a video message. Mr. Singh said that the Pradhan Mantri Gati Shakti Master Plan would act as a force multiplier in developing infrastructural facilities in the Northeast region. He asserted that the government is committed to strengthening the pace of development in the region. Underlining the telecom revolution made by India by joining select countries where 5G facilities have been introduced, the Defence Minister assured the people of expanding the IT and telecom facilities to every nook and corner of the northeastern states. The Indian panorama at the International Film Festival of India, IFFI, began in Goa on Monday. The opening movie in the feature film category was Kannada film Hadinilentu, directed by Prithvi Konanur. The opening film in the non-feature film category was The Show Must Go On, directed by Divya Kovaschi. Our correspondent has the details on other events of the day at IFFI.
Union Information and Broadcasting Minister Anurag Singh Thakur inaugurated the Indian panorama and felicitated cast and crew of both the opening films. Speaking on the occasion, Mr. Thakur congratulated the filmmakers whose movies are being screened at the IFFI. Addressing the gathering, Information and Broadcasting Secretary Apoorv Chandra said, under the Indian Panorama section, IFFI will showcase best of the movies from all the four corners of the country. Mr. Thakur also launched 53-hour challenge for 75 creative minds of tomorrow to showcase their talent by making short films on the idea of India at 100.
Spark in those youngsters when you meet them, they are here to achieve something. They know they are selected out of 1,000 plus applications and they are the lucky 75 creative minds. Now they will get the opportunity to interact with others, also work as a team.
Mr. Thakur also inaugurated Film Bazaar, which is the largest film market in South Asia. Minister of State for Information and Broadcasting, Dr. L. Murugan, was among those present on the occasion. Ashok Shukla, AIR News, Goa.
In today's Hotspot section, we bring you a discussion on 53rd edition of the International Film Festival of India, IFFI. In conversation are Murtaza Ali Khan, film critic, and V. Ravi Kumar, AIR correspondent.
India's largest annual cinema extravaganza that brings worldwide allure of cinema to cinephiles across the world, and especially in India, and converts an entire state into a stage, begins today. The 53rd edition of International Film Festival of India, or IFFI as it is called, is being held in Goa from 20th to 28th of November. And this time it is being held entirely or largely in the physical format, coming back from the pandemic which had its impediments in the last two editions. Cinephiles will get to see 339 feature films in 23 different languages and dialects, and 248 non-feature films in 24 different languages. To discuss what all this edition has in store, we are joined by noted film expert Murtaza Ali Khan. Murtaza, this has been an annual event, and since 2004 Goa has hosted it. So what's going to be special in this edition, especially given that this time we are largely or fully free of the pandemic restrictions?
The last few years have been quite, but I must commend the ministry and the organizers that even though they were doing it, sort of a hybrid form or a virtual form, they were still delivering it. And that is what IFFI is all about. We are talking about the 53rd edition this year. And I don't think that there's anything that can get larger than this. It's like the whole world descending upon, this beautiful beach city of Goa. And it has now become a cultural hub or a cinema heaven, if I would like to describe it as that. Everybody from the global arena is now coming to this city as India marches on with its legacy of cinema. And now we have entered 53 years in terms of this festival alone. And we are also celebrating the 100 years of cinema. As you are aware that Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav celebrations have been going on.
Right.
So the theme for the opening ceremony also this year was evolution of Indian cinema over the last 100 years. So that itself, I think, makes it very special because we are celebrating the legacy of cinema at a time when the whole world has descended upon the city of Goa, and it's full of cinephiles now, and this is really big. And already the Honorable Minister Anurag Thakur has inaugurated this wonderful 9-day festival at the Shyama Prasad Mukherjee Indoor Stadium in Panaji, and we had some wonderful stars. Ajay Devgan, Kartik Aaryan performed on some of his Bhool Bhulaiya numbers. But if you look at the numbers alone, that is so staggering. The kind of feature films that we have, not just from India, but globally, the kind of non-feature films that we have, that also, I think, is very striking. So it has to be one of the biggest and the most brightest editions of IFFI. And as the Honorable Minister rightly said, that it's not just the biggest festival in India, it's the biggest festival in Asia. So I am really excited at the kind of movies that we're going to watch. It's going to be a wonderful mix of the new ones. A lot of the films are going to get premiered here, such as The Storyteller, Drishyam 2, Goldfish, Bhedia, and a lot of the old films also. If you are lovers of classics, then you will also be able to watch some of the restored ones from the National Film Archives of India, which has been done by NFDC. Some of the best films to have come out of France, because you have to understand that France is the country of focus this year.
Murtaza, let's look at it sequentially. There are various segments of the film festival. We have the Indian panorama, the international panorama. We have special sections, some of you already hinted at. We have an all-new tech exhibition, and we have the trade-focused film bazaar. So tell us more about these.
This edition of the festival is that we are really taking it to the next level. Often when we speak of cinema, people refer to Cannes as the Makkah of cinema, and everybody talks about the Cannes Film Festival and the market that they have this year. So this year, what India has done is that we also have house pavilions of more than 13 states, which includes Bihar, Punjab, Gujarat, Tamil Nadu, Maharashtra, and we have participating countries such as Russia and France. So that also adds to the flavor. And of course, Bazaar is always the mainstay, and you can expect hundreds of wonderful new story ideas, and this is where actually the hunting ground takes place. It is where everybody comes, the young storytellers get this wonderful opportunity to come out and get their films funded, get their ideas backed and eventually materialize. To go back to the idea of what the Honorable Minister Anurag Thakur said, that he has made it very clear that he wants India to be the one-stop destination for everything, be it idea creation, be it shooting, be it the entire 360-degree process that the filmmaking is all about. So I think Bazaar is going to play a very important role in that. And the fact that we are also now bringing in these ideas of regional pavilions, I think that is really the icing on the cake.
Interesting. Regional pavilions. And you mentioned the Cannes Film Festival, and in fact the Cannes Film Festival in 2022 this year, India was a country of honor, and this time round we are seeing France as the country of honor in the IFFI 53rd edition. And film history owes its historical and aesthetic legacies to the always inventive, trailblazing cinema of France. To this day, the generation of French directors, including Jean-Luc Godard, François Truffaut and Claude Chabrol, are regarded as the most artistically fertile cinematic revolution in the history of films. So please tell us more about this section, the country of what does it hold, Murtaza?
I think it is a very important section, and it's beautiful to see India and France, share this legacy. Earlier in the year, we had Bonjour India, which celebrated so many different aspects of the cultural ties between India and France. But with IFFI, I think we are now taking it to the next level, because we are now talking about cinema that is very, very different. We are not just talking about the masters now. We are talking about the new as well as old cinema. I think that's very important, because a lot of us have heard about Godards of the world. We have heard about the Chabrols of the world. We have heard about Truffauts of the world. We all have seen films of Louis Malle. And of course, it's always wonderful to have retrospectives of these masters. But the new French cinema is also very exciting. And what really makes me happy is that now our audiences are also going to get access to this kind of new cinema that is coming out of France. Now we have people again coming back to ground zero and getting the best kind of cinema experience on the biggest screens possible, which is unprecedented, because you have to understand that it's very rare. You can always watch it on a platform, which is digital, and you can praise it. But to watch it on the big screen, in the kind of environment with the people and audiences who are cinema enthusiasts, that's what makes it a carnival-like atmosphere.
In fact, there are some special sections, like there's the DSPA retrospective, the Dada Saheb Phalke Award retrospective, which will screen films of the latest winner, that is Asha Parekh. And there's a Golden Jubilee of Manipuri cinema. And there is a homage section where one particular film, which is probably a special film in the life or the career of the personalities who left us in 2022, which includes Bappi Lahiri, Lata Mangeshkar, Bhupinder Singh, singer KK, Pandit Birju Maharaj, Pandit Shiv Kumar Sharma, and many other people. That is one section. But one section that you already hinted at is the restored classics. So you have Gonashatru, Nanak Naam Jahaz Hai, Nau Sherwani Adil, Shankarabharanam, and Shatranj Ke Khiladi. So tell us more about the restored classics. How does it work? Are you excited to see some of them?
Yeah, I have always stressed upon the importance of archival, and NFAI, right from the days of PK Nair, has been doing a wonderful job in restoring the classics. Unfortunately, we lost, some of our early films because NFAI was not there. Yes, Ardeshir Irani, and that's really a tragedy. But I think PK Nair, and ever since PK Nair's tenure, NFAI has been doing some wonderful work. Sohrab Modi is really greatest icons of cinema, and he is somebody who started this idea of larger-than-life epics. And to be able to watch his films on the big screen, Nau Sherwani Dil, it is a classic of Indian cinema, and I think it's very rare just to think of Satyajit Ray Shatranj Ke Khiladi getting watched in the restored version on the big screen. That itself is, history in the making. And also we have the Telugu movie. We also have a lot of other things here. K. Vishwanath's Telugu film, as I was mentioning. Shankar Banam is here. And another Satyajit Ray film, Ganashatru, is here. So this is really exciting. And I am really happy because now this trend is going to pick up. And a lot of these films are being restored now.
Another thing that you already mentioned is the gala premieres, which is another thing new this time, that films like Bhedia and Drishyam 2 will actually be released during this thing. And the other thing that I was noticing is that during the pandemic, a lot of people took to OTT, the over-the-top platforms, and some of them are also being premiered during the gala premieres. So how do you see the influx, or some would say the infiltration of OTT into a film festival?
Over the last 2 years, I've been interviewing a lot of filmmakers, a lot of actors, a lot of writers. And when I ask them that, what do you think of OTT? Everybody says OTT is great, but everybody also says that cinema experience, the big screen viewing experience is something that needs to be preserved. And that's why I need to commend IFFI. I need to commend the entire organizing team led by the Honorable Minister himself, that they have taken special efforts to ensure that some of these new films get screened on the biggest screen possible. Imagine a film like Drishyam 2 getting screened for the audiences. They can come here, enjoy. Bhedia is here. Tera Kya Hoga, Lovely is here. The Storyteller with Paresh Rawal and Adil Hussain is here. I think this is commendable because you have to understand that people also value the fact that we are now going to be watching premieres as part of the festival. So they'll come out in large numbers, and the cinema legacy that needs to be carried forward from one generation to another is going to be carried forward because there has been a gap of 2.5 years. And OTT, as great as it is, the cinema viewing experience has to be on the big screen. It is a unanimous thing. Everybody, who has ever loved films, who understands the medium, has never compromised that, and they have always maintained that the big screen viewing experience is very important.
Right. There are close to 2,000 film festivals across the world. When we talk of top film festivals internationally, we talk of Cannes, we talk of Venice, we talk of Berlin, we talk of Toronto or Sundance or even Tribeca Film Festival or even London, Hong Kong, Rotterdam. Where does IFFI rank among all these, and what needs to be done to raise the ranking of IFFI among these international film festivals?
Yeah, I think we are headed in the right direction. COVID was a big roadblock, but this year I am seeing some amazing images already. I am in Goa already, and I am seeing the kind of enthusiasm, the kind of arrangements. I see great changes happening. There is a serious purpose that seems to be in place. But of course, Cannes, has a longer legacy. You have to understand that IFFI has been in place for 53 years. Cannes is slightly older festival, so that is something that gives it an edge. But I think that's going to change very soon in the near future because now everybody is coming to India for filmmaking. India is becoming the hottest hub for filmmaking, for shooting. India is also becoming a very important hub in general in terms of trade, in terms of commerce. So I really see IFFI growing as a much larger brand if this continues. What needs to be done is now to keep on this energy, these changes that are coming in, this new kind of focus that I'm seeing now, the sense of purpose that the Honorable Minister Anurag Thakur has brought in. I think this needs to continue. That is the kind of initiative we need to take.
Right.
We need to take our brand globally. IFFI is the biggest thing that's happening right now, not just in India, but in Asia. And I think this brand is now traveling.
Right.
And if this vision continues, what this new momentum under the Honorable Minister Anurag Thakur that we are now experiencing, I think we just need to carry this forward.
Right.
We just need to continue with this momentum.
Right. On that hopeful note, for all cinephiles between 20th to 28th November, IFFI, the 53rd edition in Goa. Murtaza Ali Khan, thank you so much for joining us on All India Radio.
Thank you so much.
This is All India Radio giving you the world news. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on Twitter at AIR News Alerts.
Welcome back to World News. The Health and Family Welfare Ministry has discontinued Air Suvidha for international arrivals. The order will come into effect from Tuesday. The ministry said the present guidelines were revised due to declining COVID-19 trajectory and significant advances made in COVID-19 vaccination coverage both globally as well as in India. The revised guidelines stated that all travellers should preferably be fully vaccinated as per approved primary schedule against COVID in their country. It has also discontinued the pre-departure RT-PCR test. On India's initiative, a proposal to clarify the export quantity of Shisham, Dalbergia Sisu, North Indian rosewood items such as furniture and artifacts was considered in the ongoing COP19 meeting in Panama City. The 19th meeting of the Conference of Parties COP19 to Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES, is being held from 14th to 25th of this month. After sustained deliberations by Indian representatives, it was agreed upon that any number of Dalbergia Sisu timber-based items can be exported as a single consignment in a shipment without CITES permits if the weight of each individual item of this consignment is less than 10 kilograms. The Environment, Forest and Climate Change Ministry said this is a great relief for the Indian artisans and furniture industry. The ministry said it will give a tremendous boost to exports of articles produced by Indian artisan communities.
Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar met with a cross-section of Indian community members and school students at Doha in Qatar on Monday. In his address at the reception, the Vice President lauded the role played by the community in deepening Indian-Qatar links. He praised the community members for their accomplishments in their respective fields. The Vice President reached Doha on Sunday for a 2-day visit to Qatar to represent India at the inauguration of the FIFA World Cup. India and Qatar enjoy close and friendly relations with multifaceted partnership extending to areas of trade, security, defense, health, education, among others. In the last financial year, bilateral trade has crossed $15 billion. Next year, both the countries will celebrate 50 years of establishment of full diplomatic relations. In Kerala, the 2-day visit of the delegation led by the U.S. Secretary of Navy Carlos Del Toro to the Southern Naval Command in Kochi concluded on Monday. The delegation called on the Flag Officer Commanding-in-Chief, Southern Naval Command Vice Admiral M.A. Hampiholi and held discussions with him on enhancement of bilateral cooperation and training exchanges on maritime issues. The delegation also visited the indigenous aircraft carrier INS Vikrant at the Cochin shipyard and interacted with the ship's crew. The Indian Navy said that the delegation's visit has further consolidated the cooperation between the two navies for exploring new avenues for collaborative mechanism.
In Indonesia, at least 162 people were killed and 700 injured as an earthquake of 5.6 magnitude struck Cianjur town in West Java at a shallow depth of 10 kilometers Monday afternoon. Herman Suherman, the head of administration in Cianjur town, told a private channel that the number of injuries and fatalities are likely to increase because there are a lot of people still trapped at the scene. He said the town's Sayang hospital had no power after the quake, leaving doctors unable to operate on victims. The National Disaster Mitigation Agency of Indonesia, in a statement, said that dozens of buildings have been damaged in Cianjur region. They include a hospital and an Islamic boarding school. It said the tremor could also be felt in the capital Jakarta about 100 kilometers away, where people in high-rise buildings were evacuated. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar has expressed sadness at the loss of life and property in Indonesia's Java from this earthquake. In his message, the minister said India stands in solidarity with Indonesia at this difficult time. He said his thoughts are with the bereaved families and wished for a speedy recovery of those injured. In Nepal, the Election Commission has said that the nationwide voter turnout in the elections to the members of the House of Representatives and 7 provincial assemblies was around 61%. Addressing a press briefing organized at the EC headquarters in Kathmandu on Sunday, Chief Election Commissioner Dinesh Kumar Thapalia said the turnout percentage may slightly increase as they continue receiving details from districts across the country. The voter turnout in the twin elections is lower as compared to the past 2 elections. The nationwide turnout in the elections held in 2013 stood at 77%, while the turnout in 2017 elections was 78%. According to Chief Election Commissioner, the elections were held largely in a peaceful manner with enthusiastic participation of voters except for a few minor incidents aimed at foiling the election process. The counting of votes has begun from last night amid tight security.
Turkey launched deadly airstrikes over northern regions of Syria and Iraq, targeting Kurdish groups that Ankara holds responsible for the last week's bomb attack in Istanbul. Turkish Defense Ministry in a statement on Sunday said that warplanes attacked bases of the outlawed Kurdistan Workers' Party or PKK and the Syrian People's Protection Unit or YPG. The ministry cited Turkey's right to self-defense under Article 51 of the United Nations Charter in launching an operation. It said it was targeting areas used as a base by terrorists in their attacks on our country. Syrian Kurdish officials have alleged civilian deaths from the air attacks. The air strikes came after a bomb rocked a bustling avenue in the heart of Istanbul on November 13th, killing 6 people and injuring over 80 others. Turkish authorities blamed the attack on the PKK and its Syrian affiliate, the YPG. The Kurdish militant groups have, however, denied involvement. The head of the United Nations nuclear watchdog has warned that whoever fired artillery at Ukraine's Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant was playing with fire. The International Atomic Energy Agency IAEA said on Sunday that more than a dozen blasts shook the nuclear plant. IAEA head Rafael Grossi said the attacks were extremely disturbing and completely unacceptable.
New Zealand's Supreme Court ruled on Monday that the country's current voting age of 18 was discriminatory. The court ruled that the current voting age of 18 was inconsistent with the country's Bill of Rights, which gives people a right to be free from age discrimination when they have reached 16. New Zealand Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said the government would draft legislation to reduce the age to 16, which could then be put to a vote in Parliament. Today is World Fisheries Day. The celebration served to focus on changing the way the world manages global fisheries to ensure sustainable stocks and healthy ecosystem. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has said that the government has worked to modernize the fisheries sector in the last 8 years. In a tweet on Monday, Mr. Modi said the efforts include integrating the latest technology, upgrading infrastructure, and ensuring greater credit to fishermen.
The Sensex and the Nifty on Monday witnessed losses of more than 0.8%. Both stock indices declined amid negative cues from global share markets. The Sensex closed below 61,200 points while the Nifty settled below 18,200 level. A report from the business desk.
The Sensex fell 518 points or 0.84% to finish at 61,145. The Nifty also slipped 148 points or 0.81% to end at 18,160. At the global stock markets, Asian stocks witnessed losses except Japan's Nikkei 225, which added 0.2%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index declined 1.9% and South Korea's Kospi plunged 1%. Singapore's Straits Times fell 0.7% and China's Shanghai Composite Index slipped 0.4%. European shares were down in intraday trade. Oil prices dropped to trade near 2-month lows. The crude prices fell as supply fears receded, while concerns over fuel demand from China and US dollar strength weighed on prices. In intraday trade, Brent crude was trading at $87.40 per barrel. Back home at the multi-commodity exchange, gold futures for December was trading at 52,380 rupees per 10 grams. Silver futures for December was trading at 60,375 rupees per kilogram when reports last came in. V. Ravi Kumar for World News All India Radio.
In FIFA World Cup, England defeated Iran 6-2 in their opening match of group stage at Doha in Qatar. Here is the analysis of the match.
England deployed their playing 11 in 4-2-3-1 format, whereas Iran stick to 5-4-1 design. That means Iran put one more striker in front line. But this is beyond logic, why the Asian giants have given so much territorial advantage to their formidable opponent. In addition, Iran made another mistake by deploying additional marksmen to guard world's most dangerous striker, Harry Kane. Definitely it is a suicidal ploy. The wingback Saka took that advantage and supplied countless deadly through passes to the England's forward line, and they scored the goal at their will. Statistics show that England kept the ball under their control for more than 95% of stipulated time. That reflects it was a completely one-sided encounter. With Pratyush Ghosh, this is Abhineet Shukla from Sports Desk.
The Netherlands are taking on Senegal in their opening encounter in group stage tonight. Moving on to cricket, India to take on New Zealand in the third and final T20 International at McLean Park in Napier on Tuesday. India is leading the three-match series 1-0 after winning the second T20 by 65 runs. The first match of the series was washed out without a ball being bowled.
Now let us take a look at the major developments around the world as reported in the foreign press. The Financial Times reports Sinopec secures one of biggest ever LNG deals with Qatar. The Guardian writes that China accused of seizing rocket debris from Philippines Navy in South China Sea dispute. The Globe and Mail reports that close call in shelling near nuclear reactor on Ukraine's front line. The Wall Street Journal reports that Robert Iger returns as Disney CEO as Bob Chapek is ousted. The Washington Post writes European teams won't use LGBTQ armbands at World Cup after FIFA threats.
Now a quick look at the headlines once again. India assumes chair of Global Partnership on Artificial Intelligence to support responsible and human-centric development and its use. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh says government accelerated development initiatives in Northeast transform Look East policy into Act East policy. Indian Panorama at the International Film Festival of India, IFFI, begins in Goa on Monday. Conference of Parties COP19 to Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora being held from 14th to 25th of November in Panama City. Earthquake kills 162 and injures hundreds in Indonesian island of Java. In cricket, India to take on New Zealand in the third and final T20 in Napier on Tuesday, and in FIFA World Cup, England defeat Iran in opening match of group stage at Doha in Qatar. And now, before we end, let us listen to Mahatma Gandhi's favorite bhajan Vaishnav Jan by artists from Barbados.
Vaishnava jene to priyane gayi re veer parari jane ve para tuke upekare kare tuye mane abhimana aneve Vaishnava jene to diyane kahire pire parari janeve.
And with that, we end this bulletin. We'll be back at the same time tomorrow with the next edition of World News.